Hey, what's going on YouTube? Burlington Northern HO fan here, and today we're going to be doing some basic maintenance on this Athearn Blue Box Tiger Stripe locomotive, and we might be upgrading these couplers to the Walther's Proto couplers that I got a while back. But right now, I know this locomotive runs somewhat okay right now, and that's okay, but I want it to run a little bit better, so I'm gonna just do some basic maintenance on it, clean it up, and we'll get it running perfect. So let's go take it to the track and I'll show you how it's running right now. Alright, so we've got our Burlington Northern locomotive on the track. Let's get it running around and I'll show you how it's running around. It's about half power, which is somewhat normal for an Athearn Blue Box. That's where they usually like to be. The slowing down back there, I believe, is my track. I don't think it has to do with the engine. Otherwise, though, I believe this engine is in pretty good working shape. But I just want to open it up. I want to make sure, get it clean, get any dirt or anything that's not supposed to be in there, get it out of there. Maybe re-grease it, maybe re-lube it, and get her running tip-top. So let's go take it back to the workbench. Alright, so here we are, back on the workbench. Now, the first thing that we're going to do is take the shell off. So the easiest way to do that, some blue boxes will have these clips, others will have body mounts. These has the clips on the bottom, so all you got to do is you just got to pull the shell off. Now that got caught, so you're just you're gonna bend that down just nice and slightly. You want this to be under the connection there, just like that, just nice and easy, just like that. Alright, so now we've got it apart. So first thing we're going to do, since we are going to be wanting to try to change couplers, this is the other style of the blue box coupler boxes that I was talking about earlier. So what you have to do is very simple. You just take that off and it comes apart just like that. So let's get our couplers if I remember where I put them. Alright, I've got my box of couplers. Let's open our box of couplers up. Get some new nice proto couplers on this locomotive. So we've got our new couplers. Now we can compare the two. Now this is a KD coupler, this is a Proto Walther's coupler. They're both pretty much the same. They both have a spring. They both have but I just figure, you know what, I want to try, I want to use the couplers that I have, so I'm going to upgrade these. These are still perfectly fine, but I want to put these on here just for the sake of it. So let's do that real quick. And it's very simple to do. All you got to do is you just line up the coupler in the box like so. Now you can put the spring back in just like that. Just like, now you want the coupler to get back in there, so you want that to be like that. There you go. You want it like that, and then you just kind of plop it back down. So you're going to want that there. And then the coupler. Sometimes these are a pain to put on. So you're going to want that in there. Let me just do this real quick. It's on the wrong way. Give me a second and I'll get this set up. Okay, so that's the way you're going to want it. You want the spring on the top, and then the coupler right there, just like that. Now we've got the other one that just popped off. That's the only problem with these, is that they like to pop off like that. So you're just gonna put this back into place just like so. You're gonna grab your other coupler, you're gonna put that in, and then you're just gonna pop it into place back there. And there you go. She's in place. Now, the next step. First thing you're going to want to do, just going to make it easier on us, so we're just going to take this contact piece off. Just set that to the side. So, now, you have these two boxes here. We're going to do these one at a time. So, under these boxes are going to be your worm gears. And all you're going to do is you're going to pry them off. They should just pry off pretty easily. Just like that. So there you go. There's your worm gear. That's going to come off just like this. You slide it out like that. There you go. Okay. And then you can just drop your gearbox down like that. So now you have your worm gear, your box, and now what you're going to do, you see, let's see, this is a good reason why we wanted to take this apart, because that shouldn't be in there. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take your screwdriver from the side, you want to take this part off. So you want to pop off that top piece, and put that to the side, and then you go down here, and you want to pop this piece off down here. These pieces are sometimes very hard to get off, so you just got to be gentle with them, because they are plastic. They do tend to want to break. So you just got to be light and polite with them. Just like that. And there you go. Now you've got all the pieces apart. You should be able to just take your wheel sets off. You just push your wheels out of there. It should come off. Just like that. Pop those off. And then you can just pull the gearbox apart. And you can take a look inside. Now you can see that inside here there is not a lot of oil. There's some, but not a lot. So we're going to clean this out. Clean all this dust and dirt out of here, and then we'll put it back together, grease it, lube it, and put it back together, and then we'll move on to the front truck. So let's get some of this out of here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut until when I've got these clean, and then I will show you me lubricating them and putting them back together. Alright, so thing you can do now that you've got this gearbox completely apart, you can take these gears off and take a real good look at them and see if they've got any cracks in them. It's a common problem with these Athearn blue boxes. So you just, remember where you took which gear from where, and just take a good look at them and see if they've got any weird damage or cracks in them. So these gears look pretty healthy. So I think they'll be alright. But what you can do is you can just take them off. Make sure there's no dirt behind these gears. Which you can see here, there's a little bit of hair. There's a little bit of hair in there. These were lubricated at one time, it looks like, but you know, so they need to be cleaned and then put back together. So I'll get back to you when I've got it put back together. Alright, so I've got this clean to the point where I like it. So now I'm going to show you how to grease this and lube this up. So what you're going to do, these are plastic gears. They don't really need the grease, but you can put it on there if you want. So you're just going to lightly, grease, put some oil on all these gears, and then you're going to spin them around until they're nice and oiled. And then you're going to set that to the side. And once you're comfortable with how clean this side is, you can put these two boxes back together. You can take that off. You can put these two boxes back together. Line up the holes. Just like that. Now I think the best thing to do to make sure it holds together is put the top cover piece back on. Just like that. So now that piece is back on. So now these gears are still free rolling in here. So what I do, because the worm gear is made out of metal, and metal appreciates the grease more, we'll put some grease on this top gear. And we'll also put some grease on the worm gears as well. But we will we'll take this and we'll put the wheels back in down here in the bottom. Make sure the bearings are lined up down here, just like so. This definitely could use a real deep clean, but I don't have the materials to do so right now, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I'm just going to get all the excess dirt and grease out of there, because you can see these wheels are very dirty in here, these contacts and bearings. So I'm just going to get as much of it off as I can. And we're just going to put these back together. Just like so. And now we can roll these around, and that will get the grease into the gears up on the top. So we'll put some oil on these as well. Okay. Now we can put the back cover, or the bottom cover, back on. Just like that. And you want this to kind of roll freely a little bit. Just roll it around, make sure it's all in there. See, there you go. That's what you want. You want that nice ease of movement there. There you go. See? That's what you want. You want this to kind of roll around freely like this. You don't want there to be any movement. So, now that you've got this together, you're going to put it back through the hole. You're going to take your worm gear, and you're going to make sure there's no dirt on it. Don't lose those bearings, the ones that I almost just lost. Don't lose those bearings. You're going to put that back on. You're going to put the worm gear into the hole in the drive shaft. And then you're going to set the gear back on the gearbox. Making sure that these bearings are in the right spot. There you go. Okay. Now that worm gear is going to want grease. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your grease. You're just going to put a little bit in there, like so. Then you're going to take your top cover and just pop that back on. And then you're going to roll that around. You can do that by rolling the flywheel here, and that'll roll around the grease that's in that box that you just put back together. And there you go. That's that box. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the front box off camera. I'm not going to bore you guys with doing the exact same thing. So I will see you guys when I have this back together and on the track. Alright, so I know I said I was going to bring it to the track next time, but one more thing I needed to add is once you get this all back together, you're just going to put the contact piece right on top. Make sure it's under these two pieces. Your light bulb needs to be touching. And the other thing I wanted to bring up, I found all that in the gearbox of the front truck. So it was a good idea for me to clean this locomotive. So hopefully she'll run a lot better now. Let's get her back together and take her onto the track and see how she does. Alright, so we've got to set up on the track here. Let's see how it goes. It's a lot quieter than it was before. I think we did a pretty good, decent job with that. Now that slowing down back there, like I said earlier, is most likely because of my dirty track. I need to clean it, but this locomotive is doing a lot better than it was before. Let's get it into the shop here and see how it does. That's a lot better. Let's run her backwards. Take her forwards again. Well, I think that is a successful maintenance and repair on this locomotive. I'm very happy with the results. So that's going to be the end of this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.